Hello everyone, I'm here today with a little bit of a different video. I am doing a flip through, and as you'll notice, these pages are 12 by 12. I don't do 12 by 12 anymore unless somebody asks me to, and in this case my husband took a trip to Canada, so he wants it 12 by 12 and I'm doing that for him. So I did a series a while back called Double Trouble, where it was doing 2-page 12 by 12 spreads, and I'm going to be back to doing that series. However, I'm going to start the first page here. I went to a crop recently, and I was there, it was a Saturday, and I was there from about 8:30 in the morning till 6:30 at night, and I had prepped a bunch of these layouts. I actually finished all 18 that I brought with me during that crop, so I've already done 18 layouts for this. So I'm going to show you what I've done so far, and then you might see some 12 by 12 pages on my channel coming up over the next few months. So as you can see, I don't have an opening page yet. I tend not to do that a lot of times until the end, just to see how the album goes. But you can see here, he wanted his flight info included. And I've really been on a mission to use up stuff that's in my stash. And so I've got lots of little embellishment type things. I've been holding on to this dang acrylic thing for a long time. Finally, it matched something, so I was able to use it. And then I did a lot of stamping on this page. And actually there's a lot of stamping in all of these layouts, I think, because I have a ton of travel stamps and I figured I better use them. So that's the first layout. This is once they got to their, I'm going to adjust this a little bit, there we go. Once they got to their Airbnb, they had a condo, and they weren't in Banff proper. This was a town called Canmore, which is near there apparently, in Alberta, Canada. And so this was their condo, and they loved it, so I just wanted to put in some fun stuff. This is actually a digital file. It's card set from Inky Quill, who is Adele to me. So if you watch her channel or your Patreon, you get cards and stuff from her every month that she designs. This is one of those. And I actually have a stamp now that says Airbnb, so I was able to use that on there. And then again, I've had this tag forever, and so I thought, okay, I'm going to use that too. And all I did was just stamp Canada on it and use some stickers on here, kept it pretty simple. And then this layout is just from around town in Canmore, what it looks like. I mean, look at that gorgeous view. And I loved this paper. I don't buy too many papers like this anymore because it's clearly made for 12 by 12. But for this, when I saw it, I knew it would work, so I had it. Some more stamping here. And then this was a map. He wanted this included because it shows the layout of the town where they stayed, which is a great idea. So this one was super easy to put together. I just used that. Another little piece that was from the front of the map that I cut off. Little die cut embellishment. Just stickers that I had. Super easy to put that together. On this side, again, I'm using a stash. This paper, I know it's from Stampin' Up. I can see the label there. I've had it a long time. I'm gonna guess it's probably 10 years old. If not, maybe then 8, but I've had it a long time. It's just been sitting in my stash. Finally, again, like, oh, something that matches, I'm gonna use it then. This is a die cut from Fancy Pants. And then over here, I did some more stamping and added a fun card that he can fill in. And that's part of what I do when I do albums for him, is I leave spaces for him to journal. It's not every page because he would never do that, but he is willing to do some journaling. And so I have left some spots where he can put in what he wants. All I do is I tell him, you know, write it in pencil first, because a lot of these I only have one of. So if you goof it up, I don't have another one. And he's been very good about that. So he'll write it out, then he'll go over it in a nicer pen that I give him, and it's good to go. So this was just them having coffee the first full day they were there. And then check out these alphas. They're very sparkly. I hope the camera shows that. Again, using my stash. I believe these are an old alpha set from SEI. Does anybody remember SEI? I've had these forever. They're actually like a winter themed thing. They might even be called winter green, maybe, or something like that. But again, hoarded them, saved them forever, and I said no more. Use them on here. So I used it for the title, and then I put more over here. And then he can fill in right here when he's ready. And this one has no journaling because it didn't really need it. It's just some shots that he had from around town, fun little stuff that he wanted included. And I was able to work in some purple here, which you don't see a lot, but he had this pass that happened to be purple. And so I thought, okay, there was an opportunity to work that in. And then his brother was wearing a purple Viking sweatshirt, so it worked out well. All right, so now we're moving on to some layouts where they're actually out there hiking in the park. So I put a title on there, and these might be SEI too. Can't remember, but they come like this. They're multicolor, and I have a harder time using those. So I thought, well, this is perfect because I've got a lot of different colors in here. I just need a simple title, so it worked very well. And then I put in some wood veneer, and I believe those, I want to say Color Cast Designs, but I'm not positive, but I think it is. They came out with a set that was all kind of like woodsy themed. So I thought that would be perfect for this album. This was actually a card, a pocket card. And I just chose to cut out the circle because I really didn't like the rest of it. It didn't go. But this matched very well because I've got a circle element here, here. I just was trying to work in the circles in general. And more hiking, and I was able to use a 4x4 card. I have some of those in my stash and they're really hard for me to use. I just don't do 4x4 that often. And so this, again, was perfect that I could use that. Did a little stamping and just added some label phrases, a little bit of washi. Here's another 4x4 that I was able to use, and a puppy sticker. So my style, especially in 12x12, is very just clean and simple. I don't go too crazy. I don't add a ton of embellishments. So you can kind of see that coming out here. And I have to say, when I first started back on this, it's been a while since I've done 12x12 again now. And I was nervous, like, oh, that's a lot of space to fill. And it was tough at first designing the pages, but then as I got back into it, I got into a groove and it worked out okay. So it still isn't my favorite size anymore, and I won't be doing it for myself, more for space and weight reasons rather than designing. But I'll continue on for this, and I think it'll work out well. So I have a pocket card there, and then down here I have a stamp that says breakfast, lunch, dinner, and this was I think dinner, so he can circle that when he's ready. And I love this paper. This background paper is actually from Creative Memories. It was part of a pack, and I think it's called Rustic. Don't know if it's still available, but I don't buy a lot of their paper. But I did do this one because I just thought this whole pack was perfectly suited to this trip. And then here I had some 2x2 pocket cards that worked well. I just lined them up in colors that matched, and it was good to go. So here I have two one-pagers. These do not really go together. And this one, I have not secured the mat because I want it to be able to be taken out by someone. I have to get final say on that for my husband. Does he want it sort of glued down the back at least, or not? I'm gonna guess not, but I don't want to do it till I talk to him. And then here he saved a ticket from this gondola ride, and so I wanted to make sure that that got in there, so that kind of made its own page. Very simple, just did a little stamping, ripped the edge over here. I took that from a layout I saw on Pinterest and just made it work for the photos I had. And so here I have this super big wood veneer, or not wood veneer, cork. It's cork embellishment. And I didn't have anything else to fill the page other than the brochure, so I think it worked well to just kind of add some stickers and stick the cork embellishment on there and kind of leave it at that. Here are more hiking photos, and then they actually got some wildlife in there. And my husband really wanted those photos in there, so I want to make sure that they were included. Went into my stash and pulled an old tag that would work because of the gray, which appears in multiple photos here, particularly on these guys. And then this card actually only said the great outdoors. I added everything else. So I stamped that, I did a little splattering, and then just added some washi, phrase labels, a super simple one, but again, you know what? It's done. This is one of my favorites just because I love the color scheme on it, and this worked out perfectly. This, I think, came from, I think it's Sparkle City by Chamel. It was a cardstock sticker. So it totally was not meant for this, but it worked out with the color scheme. So it was a 12x12 strip, so I cut it to fit here, and then there's a little bit here, and then I've got more on the other page as well. This was just a 4x6 card randomly that I had, but it worked perfectly here. Sometimes it pays to save stuff because then you can use it later. There's the rest of that. Just added on some digital files that I had printed and cut out, and another one done. So here, another simple one. I did some stamping, phrase label, and sticker. This is from Everyday Explorers. Love these. And this one will have journaling because I know he had something he wanted to say about seeing all this, so I did include a journal card there. And then on this side, because I only had 2 photos, I had a lot of empty space. And so I had to get a little creative with what I included. So this was a tag I cut off the top and used the rest. Added a sticker here. And this was a piece, I don't even remember where I got this, but just a little piece of ephemera that I've had, again, in my stash forever. Figured, oh, that kind of works, you know, because how often do you ride a gondola up the side of a mountain? So I put that in there. Little camera die cut, little stamping here on the side. Pretty simple. These are 2 more singles that do not go together. This is a famous hotel that's in town, I guess. And it's just ginormous. So he took pictures of that and then a little plaque about it, and either the designer or the developer, whoever came up with the idea. So he had the statue there. So I just added a couple little things around the page. I used pink because there's pink slightly in the background of this paper. It's probably hard to see on camera, but it's there. And I just worked that in, little pink washi, and then used embellishments that also had pink. And then this one I thought was cool. He wanted to save his screenshots on how much they hiked every day. And I do this when I'm on a trip. I will screenshot how many miles I put in a day if it involves a lot of walking. So good for him that he remembered to do that. And they did 13.3 miles just on this day. And so he wanted to showcase that, which I did. I did include some journaling here so he can write about that. And then I just added some phrases right here that I thought were appropriate that kind of went with this. And this paper, which I love, it's so stinking cute. It's very whimsical. I didn't know how else I was going to use this, so I think it worked out perfectly to just do it for something like this. And then, whoops, we gotta go this way. There we go. This is the last full layout I have here. And this was their next morning, so it's the start of the next day. And they went out for breakfast. So he had some shots of the cafe itself, of them eating and having their coffee. So I did stamp on there, life starts after coffee. Very true. And then one of the things I love about this layout is I had this card in my stash. And this one isn't that old, but I had it, and it's from Kelly Perky. And you just check off the boxes of what you had. Now over here it did say breakfast in bed. So it's supposed to be for a hotel, but I just chose to cover that up, and then they can use the rest of this and it'll work out fine. So he doesn't really have to journal, but he is giving information because he's checking off things. And then I just did some stamping over here. And if you notice this paper, I used it on another layout as well. I just got lucky that I had some scraps left and it worked to add them to this layout. So didn't have to do much there, which is awesome. So that's what I have so far on the new 12x12 Banff Canada series. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that, and I hope you'll watch me when I put together more layouts. Thanks for watching.